Today I'm going to talk about the importance of speaking to a professional or seeking, professional advice on getting help with your health and fitness goals. Now, why is that important? I mean, let's just look at this. Your boiler breaks down. Do you attempt to fix it on yourself? No. You spend £1,000, £2,000, £3,000 to get a new boiler, come and install it. Yes, because they have the skills, the knowledge, the expertise. Do you want to pay it? Maybe not. Is it worth it? Yes, because it enhances your life, keeps you warm, keeps your family warm, looks after you, right? Go to the garage, cars break down, don't work, don't fix it yourself, do you? Pay the experts. You could learn to be a mechanic. Probably take you about 4 years or 5 years or whatever. You don't have time for that, so you pay the professionals. All these things that we spend money on because we can't do it ourselves, we get the professionals to help, and sometimes it costs a bit of money, but it's all right. We accept it because we need a car, right? How are we going to get to work and buy the shopping and take the kids to whatever they do, practices and stuff like that, without a car? What about your body? The most important asset you have in your life. What do you do to look after that? How much investment do you pay in that? The thing that's most important in your life, your body, so you can be around for your kids as long as possible, so you can work as hard as you can, looking after yourself. Like, what investment do you put into that? But we're okay with spending money on, I don't know, new sofa, maybe £1,000, like £2,000. I don't know, spending money on our garden, doing all these things, or just internet shopping, buying stuff to make ourselves feel happy. A lot of people aren't happy with their current situation, so they look for external sources to fill that happiness, to fill that void. Yet when it comes to spending money on our health and our bodies, for our mental well-being as well as our physical, we will speak to, it's always Karen there, let's go Karen. We'll speak to Karen in the office, who's lost and gained the same stone for the last 10 years. Or Dave, who's tried keto and he's lost and gained the same stone for the last 5 years. He's tried keto, he's tried fasting, he's tried everything under the sun, yet, he loses a stone again, this new thing, and we speak to him and go, "Oh, Dave, what have you been doing this week? I'll listen to you because you've lost the stone and you know what you're doing, right?" But yet when it comes to seeking help to a professional, speaking to a professional who, if you speak to good people, invest a huge amount of energy into their craft, into learning about this. It's a very complex problem, weight loss and weight gain. It's not a simple solution. It takes a lot of learnings, a lot of understanding about clients, a lot of work on yourself, thousands of pounds and probably years of getting good at it. Yeah, don't necessarily speak to those guys who do it for a living. There's a reason people get paid a certain amount of money to solve a problem that's a complex problem, because they're good at it. There's a reason why people charge a certain amount of money. They're good at what they do, and they're adding a service to people. You look at someone like Elon Musk, electric cars aren't cheap. Solved a big flipping problem there, hasn't he? So if you think about it, it's probably a really sound investment in an electric car, right? So there's a reason like these things cost time and money. They're good. So the reason I wanted to talk about this tonight is I'm in different groups on Facebook, and I'm going to give you a little story. So someone shared something, and she was like, "I'm a bit confused. I've lost like 15 pounds. She actually said, "I've lost 15 pounds, but I haven't lost any weight for a week." I'm eating 1,000 calories and I'm working out 11 times a week. And there's hundreds of comments. Give up carbs, do keto, you're in starvation mode, all these ridiculous comments. The reality is 99.9% of the people in that group have not got a clue what they're talking about. They're saying ridiculous things. First of all, if she's eating 1,000 calories and training 11 times a week, she'll be losing weight. She is not in starvation mode and she doesn't need to eat more calories. Whatever she's doing, she's not tracking her calories accurately. So that's what's going wrong. But people are giving their opinion, which is cool. You know, we all have an opinion on health and exercise, and it's people. It's something we're interested in, right? But a lot of people also don't have a clue what they're talking about. So it can be quite dangerous to actually get, which is cool. You know, you can get some advice from friends and family, but it needs to be specific to you. You have your problems, your struggles, food you like, food you don't like, different metabolisms. So it's okay to get some advice from lots of different people, but is that really serving you as a person? Getting some advice from, you know, Dave in the office, who's not living in your shoes, he doesn't have your lifestyle, he doesn't have your stresses, your worries, your concerns. How is that serving you? You need to think of like, what is serving you? And yeah, I was interviewing one of my coaches' clients. We always interview each other's clients at the end of the program, a reflection on their journey, their story, and what's worked and how they've got their results. And she was just commenting like, you can keep paying for these 120 to 100, 150, 200, 250, these £300 programs, which are just cookie cutter programs off the internet, which aren't specific for you, or you can invest in things like shakes. And yeah, you might get results for a certain period of time, and the weight goes back on. And then 6 months later, you do it again, another couple of £100. And then you realize again, it's not sustainable, but you keep going through that period and that vicious cycle, and you're thinking that's the answer, but it's not really the answer, because you're not changing your habits. You're not changing your lifestyle. You're not reducing your stress. You're not doing anything from a sustainability period. And each time you fail, self-esteem, confidence, motivation just goes down and down and down. Psychologically, you're going through that battle again. And each time it happens, it just gets harder. And then you start to feel fear of failure again. Like, I can't put myself through this again because I failed so many times. Then you start telling yourself you don't have the time. Or, I just love food too much. I've heard it so many times. I can't do it. I love food too much. It's BS. It's just not true. If it was, you know, if you think about food, I love food too much. I've seen people that, you know, if you really love food, you take time to eat the food, care for the food, have some attention, you know, eat consciously with no distractions and actually really appreciate it. I see people that eat food like they're never going to have a meal again. To me, that doesn't show any love or appreciation. When I think about love for something, I think about treating it with care, like love, attention, happiness. You know, think about your kids. A lot of the time, the way we eat food, it's like I don't see any love at all for it. I was actually watching a program. It was called 1,000 Pound Sisters, and they were just eating just to fill a hole. They were genuinely eating to fill a hole of unhappiness. So, you know, this excuse about time or I just love food, what you're doing is that you're actually letting yourself off. You're letting yourself off by telling these stories to yourself that it's the love of food or time or money. You know, you're just letting yourself off. If you were a bit more accountable and a bit more honest with yourself, you know, which is a lot more difficult and a lot harder to own up to, maybe, you know, there's a conversation there and there's a realization that it's just an excuse to not do something. And look, I have a lot of sympathy and a lot of empathy because it's hard. I see it with all my clients. It's really hard. It's really hard to make changes. It's really hard to know what's the right thing to do, who to trust. There's lots of people out there doing a lot of stuff, a lot of people that maybe just want to make money. But if you're going to make some changes, speak to a professional, look at the reviews, look at the before and afters, look at the things that their clients are saying, and go from there. But just really think about the next time you're looking to make some changes, or you really want to improve your health, your situation, speak to a professional. How many years and how many times you want to keep going through the same vicious cycle? I don't know. If it was me, I'd be doing the same thing for, like, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20. I'd be like, do you know what? Maybe it's time I invested in myself. Because that's what you're doing. You know, when you work with someone that is a professional, you're invested in yourself. You're saying to yourself, I'm worth it. I'm worth investing some time, some money, some energy, because I'm worth it. And I'm going to bring the best version of me for my family and my friends, and, you know, show up at work better. So you're saying to yourself, you're worth it. So it wasn't, I don't know if that is a rant, but it wasn't my intention to sort of just talking about, like, my thoughts and my feelings, and why I think it's just so important to speak to a professional and just get some serious help, especially if you've been struggling for a long time, especially if you tried so many things before. Because, being honest, if you're sort of in your 40s or 50s, it ain't going to get any easier. It's going to get a lot harder. Imagine yourself 20 years ago when you're, like, young and sprightly to now. All right, put another 20 years on that. Don't know about you, but I'm 37 now. When I hit 60, I want to be fit. I want to be going and visiting and exploring places. I don't want to be getting a flipping new hip or not being able to go and enjoy my life. I'm retiring and I want to enjoy it. So add another 20 years on to now. If you think it's tough now, it's only going to get tougher. All right, guys, hope you got some value from that, and I shall speak to you soon.